Hello, hello, arty friends. This is the Book of Boxes, and we're going to make this one a little extra special with some Gelli Prints from P. So what I did is I pulled out the one page, and in particular, it is it's the canister box, I believe, but I'm going to show that page here. Canister with a twist. And certainly did have a twist and met the goofy gifting that is for the Maker's Creative collab that just happened. If you didn't watch that, I highly recommend it. One of the things to keep in mind whenever pulling these out of the book is that it really is best to pull the staples out of the book and then use, because it's also glued in, and they come out much easier. So there's just a little tip kind of trick there, because I was noticing that I was having a lot of trouble and I didn't want to mess up the other ones. And then it's kind of one of those things. It was a little bit, in certain areas, it was easier to use the scissors, and in other areas, it was just a little bit easier to, because it is perforated, but a little tricky in certain other areas. So I used both scissors and obviously just kind of punching out with the perforation. And in the end, come back around and clean up those edges with the scissors, because whenever you get kind of to the end part, it is a good idea to have those cleaner edges. And I did go ahead and keep all of the other pieces because they have kind of cool stuff on the backside. And of course, don't throw anything away. So as you can see, that one edge, it was a lot easier just to go ahead and just punch it off, and there we have it. I would say that one of the little frustrations, and I said this in the collab video, is that the instructions, they kind of seem simple, but I would have liked a little bit more direction. But once you kind of go through them, they do sort of make sense. And like the hardest part here was like how I stacked it. I actually, towards the end, I restacked the way that came in. The order of those panels is important. And then I was able to get the initial fold on the top part done, but P had to come in because if you are familiar with any origami and you have done it before, that comes in quite handy. And I think that's probably just, true of most things. If you've kind of been exposed to it, then it's a lot easier. I did come back and end up coming through, you kind of fold them and then refold them and then put the box back together. That's very helpful in doing these. This is kind of the second one I've done. I haven't finished the other one, but they are trickier than they seem. And this is where I just could not get the whole idea of which flap went where to get the same fold. And luckily they do have the pictures, so that is extremely helpful. But the struggle's real, y'all. The struggle is real. Isabella's helping, of course. So see, I almost had it, but I knew. And luckily this was one on the back of the book, so that was extremely helpful, because not only was it you have the black and white picture inside of the book, but you then have the color picture. Izzy's telling y'all to give the thumbsy upsies. And I think she wanted to know if this was going to be recorded as far as like voice. I told her no. So this is a voiceover. One more attempt. And then I think this is when I hand it over to P, and then it'll come back folded properly. And once this process video goes out, the live stream afterwards, I will have her show. Yeah, see, I handed it off to her. That last fold is very hard at the top. And then I did come back in and put in the ABC, and that was more helpful in me knowing how to do the bottom of the box. But see how it was like a fold under, and then it helped push that one piece up, so it kind of blooms upward, which was sort of nice. And that's where I then figured out, okay, trimming off those edges afterwards, it just made it look a little cleaner too. Now choosing, and if y'all haven't seen, those papers that I just flipped through there are ones from the live stream where P did the long haul, and this is the same papers that she used for her boxes on the little wooden box thing, the ones that went inside of the wooden box or little shelf. And I held up the matte medium. That stuff is the extra heavy. It's really awesome. I went ahead and because I wanted I knew I didn't need all of the interior of the box, and I wanted to save what I could for the outer part of the box. So that is why I did it that way, where I just kind of went through, chose the upper portion. And what's nice is once you have the folds in, you know where to position the cover paper. Because I just, the silver checkered stuff was, it's pretty, but wasn't really what I wanted, and I wanted to make this a little bit more special, and obviously that's why we did the video the way we did. Coming in with just those little pieces, piece it in. It was a little slippery. That the cardstock that the boxes are made of, I don't know if it has a coating, but it was interesting. It's not as porous as it seems. And this is when I was like, okay, yeah, now that makes more sense, because it locks in much better that way, or in that stacking order. I was a little worried that coming back and putting the gel prints on, I had to hand it back over to P. See, she had to do the top part again, because it just wasn't making any sense to me. Still struggling with it. But what I wanted to do, and luckily the print was done in the right way, or at least this was a sheet that I could tear, because this is the wet strength tissue, the Carnival wet strength tissue paper. So tearing it the other direction, just not an option. I went ahead and just trimmed it at the bottom, because it was like, okay, well, if I do take the box apart, then this will help me remember how things go. And once I had put down the gel print with the extra heavy matte medium, that's the Amsterdam stuff, I knew that I should just probably go ahead and just coat those the sides of the box as well, just fully. So it kind of gave it a nice little sheen. That's one nice thing about, actually, there are many nice things about the extra heavy matte medium by Amsterdam, but it has a very nice sheen and it sticks really nicely. It's some good stuff. If you can find it on sale, I highly recommend it. So just going through again, like I said, this paper has a very interesting kind of coating to it, or it just wasn't like sticking down straight away. You had to get that stuff on there and really put a nice coat of it there, and come back over and flatten out the gel print onto the paper. And it just so happened that P had done that print right there that had that kind of greenish gray plus the pink, which went so well with the box. And it didn't need a lot, but I wanted to, obviously make it a little extra special, maybe a little extra goofy for the goofy gifting. I have not gifted this to anyone yet. I spent a lot of time on it. So I don't know, maybe a gift to myself. Maybe the gift is me learning how to fold the top of it. There's that. I was pretty impressed with how that lined up as well. I mean, that to me was like, all right. I knew I had it folded properly since it lined up so nicely. And I was a little concerned that was going to stick down, but it didn't. Or, I mean, it stuck, the gel print stuck down, but the little fold at the top was fine. But that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Give those thumbsy upsies. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Leave those comments below and do all that YouTube business. Thanks for watching.